You've been sold a lie. You've been told that more leads equals more sales. But the truth that no one wants to tell you is that it's not about leads, it's about the belief. Because clients don't buy because of a fancy funnel or a complicated fancy ad. They buy because they trust you, and they buy because they believe in your way. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through the simple 3-step content strategy that'll actually turn strangers into ready to buy clients without the need of funnels, ads, cold DMs, or working 24/7. And I know this is true because I've worked with clients like Dan Bolton, who made over $1 million last year, all through the power of his content, without ads, funnels, or even sales calls. Or Patrice, who made $30,000, all from the power of one video in 30 days, and actually won the school games with that video. And I've helped Corey triple his business in 1 year through the power of content. And so I know that this simple strategy will not only revolutionize the marketing model that you are using, but change your entire life. So if you want to learn this 3-step simple process, let's break it down right now. Stick around, you won't want to miss this one. Now, before I can dive into the system, you have to understand the evolution that's happened in marketing today. You see, when we first started marketing back in 2000s, we were in the info era where information was abundant. If you had an expertise, you knew something that most people didn't know, people would throw money at you. So it was very easy for us to build courses and do all these things that people needed your expertise with. And the problem with that is now with ChatGPT, that's pretty much gone. Like the fact that you would hire me just for information that you could ask ChatGPT that would give you more accurate, faster, and works 24/7. It's just, it doesn't work in 2025, right? Information is dead. People are not spending $2, $3, $5, or $10,000 just because you have information. Right? This is why people like Alex Hormozi and Gary Vee and Dan Martell are giving away all their secrets, because they understand that the secrets are not really secrets. It's in books, it's in podcasts, it's on YouTube. Information is not what people want. Then we moved into the funnel era, which is automate everything, where we had a very streamlined process to take a stranger into a buyer. And that worked great for many, many years. This revolutionized marketing. Russell Brunson revolutionized how we can create a business that actually gives us freedom, that gets us consistent clients. And it worked. I mean, it still works. The problem is with this method is that people do not buy in a linear fashion. People do not just go through, follow the steps to then buy something. Because the problem is, funnels will generate you leads. That's no doubt. There's lots of stats to prove that, right? But will it actually generate clients? No. And that's because it's missing a very important part in this strategy, which is trust. We are in a trust recession. The problem is with AI and so many people who've been burned from coaching programs and courses and spend tens of thousands of dollars on shitty agencies, is that they've been burned. They do not trust people on the other end of the lens like they used to back in the day. And so what people don't want is to be stuffed and pushed through a process that we did not opt in. They say, hey, download my fancy lead magnet, and now we're getting daily emails about why you should buy, why should you buy, why should you buy, and we're being bombarded with people who want to sell to us. And this is creating tension. This is creating lack of trust. And so what is working right now in 2025 is not info, is not funnels, it's content. Content is the ultimate unlock if you want a business that actually gives you freedom, that creates impact, and gives you, a life that is not actually going to be trapped in you always trying to get new clients, always stressing about when your next dollar is coming from, or just maintaining the ship. Content is actually moving the needle for so many entrepreneurs. It is changing people's lives. And if you actually understand the psychological reasons behind it, it will forever change your business. Content could be your marketer, content can be your closer, content can be your trainer. Content can be like almost everything in your business. And the beautiful thing is you don't need a big audience. You don't need to go viral to get clients. People are making millions of dollars, just like Dan, off of 1,500 subscribers, off of 2,000 to 3,000 followers on Instagram. This guy has made millions of dollars and has never gone viral, doesn't have a big audience. Like, he is making serious money with a very small audience, and you can too. So the shift that you need to understand is that it's not about the system that will you push people through. It's about the content you create. So this is the real truth and the new way, the new path to getting clients consistently and effortlessly in 2025. It's not by grinding harder. It's not by pitching more. It's by creating trust. And the best way to create trust is to post content. Content that attracts clients, that pre-sells them on you, your method, and your offer, and lets them come to you in your DMs wanting to know how they can work with you. And so this new way to get these clients is what we call the cold to sold flow, because you don't want to scale by force. You don't want to scale by hustle and grind and complexity. You want to scale with ease, with fun, with creativity, with freedom. And the way to do that is through flow and not force. And so what we're going to be going through right now is the process of how you can take someone who is cold all the way to sold, who is hot, who wants to buy, and the psychology behind bringing someone from cold to sold. First step in the cold to sold process is, number one, traffic. You need to have a strategy to generate eyeballs, to get attention. Now, there are only 3 ways that you can get attention. Only 3. So whatever you decide, or the combination, this is the only 3 ways. And I know this because I worked with dozens of entrepreneurs, right? People who won the school games, people who are making multiple millions of dollars, who are selling millions of books. This is the only 3 ways: free organic content, paid, advertisement, or partnership. All 3 are great. I have built a lot off of free and partnership, right? In paid, I've also done before. I've worked with a lot of people. All 3 can in it. It almost doesn't matter on which one, but there is a caveat, okay? The caveat is this: just because you use paid doesn't mean you're going to actually get clients, right? Paying is you are guaranteeing attention, but if you don't actually create good content, it doesn't matter if you get attention, because who wants to pay attention to a turd? You know what I mean? So you have to make sure. Caveat is this: just because you use paid ads doesn't mean you're going to blow up your business, okay? It does not mean it, right? So I recommend you start with organic and or partnership. And partnership is simply put like podcasts. It's collaboration. Honestly, it's one of my favorite ways to growing organically, because you're leveraging someone else's audience, right, to build your own. That's why people podcast, right? So there's so many different avenues you can do with, but just ask yourself, like, am I bringing in strangers? Am I actually creating eyeballs on what I do and the new way I do it every single day? That is the goal of traffic. You need a traffic strategy. And this is step 1 in the 3-step cold to sold flow. Now, step 2 is called the trust loop. And this is where most coaches, experts, and entrepreneurs really mess up. They post content without any intentional rhythm, without any intention. They kind of post and pray. And the purpose of the trust loop isn't to post and pray and try to get clients. It's to build trust. It's to serve, not sell. Think about this. If you were in a bar or at a coffee shop and you want to talk to this girl, and you go up and you're really eager and you're wanting to, like, hey, I want to get your number. I want to get married. I want to do this. What's going to happen? She's going to get turned off. She's going to be like, yo, you're coming on too strong. Like, I don't want that, right? The energy that you provide is going to either attract or repel people. And so it's important that in this phase, you don't try to sell. You don't try to take, right? Think of Gary Vee, his jab, 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 right hook, right? You give, and then you ask. So in the content, don't ask for the sale. They are not ready to buy. You are simply serving. You're simply trying to build trust. And this is the mistake people make, is that people run an ad to a landing page thinking that that person is ready to buy. They are not ready to buy. It's just like this. Like, I got an ad literally for a Ferrari. Someone's like using Ferraris, and they have an event where obviously they're trying to sell Ferraris. Unfortunately, I'm not in the financial position to buy a Ferrari. I will one day. But until that day, I'm not going to go to this event. Although it'd be cool and fun, I know they're trying to sell me a Ferrari. And so they're trying to sell to someone who's not ready to buy. And so I'm not going to go to the event. So they're using their marketing dollars to advertise this event to sell Ferraris when I am not going to go. It's just not going to happen. This is a perfect example to people trying to sell too early. So the thing you want to think about is that in order for someone to buy, they need trust. Now, Google did a study that in order to establish trust online, you need 7 hours of content consumed. That's the average amount of content you need for them to build enough trust. If you're thinking, oh, should I do short form or long form? Well, hopefully this answers the question that how much short form content would you have to do to generate 7 hours of content? I don't want to do the math, but it's a lot. It'd be a lot easier if you just make 7 videos and there's your 7 hours of content consumed. So it's not so much about the days, weeks, or months, it's about how much content is consumed. Because someone can watch 7 hours of content in one day, right? Or they can watch 7 hours of content in 1 year. Both are the same. It's about the content consumed. And so by focusing on a rhythm that you can create content and bring value and serve and not sell, you are building trust and you are building demand because you're not trying to take all the time. Right? The supply and demand. If you're always trying to take, then supply is going to be high. You're always like supplying the goods, right? You're always wanting, but if supply is low, what happens? Demand is high. And so that is the purpose of stage 2 in the trust loop. We're trying to loop and get them to binge watch our content and to establish trust. So you don't need just more content. You need content that shifts beliefs. So this is, again, going back to the info. We're not trying to sell info here. We're not trying to say, here's the top 5 bicep workouts, right? That's easy for me to find on ChatGPT, right? On Google, on TikTok. It's not that. It's about why should I listen to you? Why is your method the method that would work for me? It's about actually shifting their perspective and beliefs. This is what step 2 is all about. Now, step 3 is all about the transaction. Is once people are warmed up and now we are sending signals to buy, signals of interest, signals to buy. So this is what we call conversion event. So conversion event could be a sales call, could be a webinar, could be a workshop, could be a low ticket product. It is not a pitch. It's an invitation to your offer, right? It's an invitation to say, hey, you are facing this. You believe in this. You believe in this way. You know you're facing this. Here's a solution. Put your hands up if you're interested. It's not pitching. It's completely inviting them to you. And this is how so many entrepreneurs I work with are enrolling clients effortlessly without sales calls, without funnels, is because their content does all the pre-selling. So the big shift here is we're not trying to sell to the strangers. We're trying to invite the warm leads who are already signaling to us that they are interested. So this is the point, signals, not selling, signals of interest. So this is wait lists. This is, maybe it's a quiz. It's signals that they are ready to make a purchase. So now they understand the cold to sold flow in its entirety, steps 1 through 3. The most important thing that you need to realize is that you can adopt this strategy. You can bring this into your business, but if you don't change the way that you create the content, none of this will work. None of the things I said will work because those are strictly just the tactics, right? Anyone can do them. The real secret that all the different coaches, consultants, experts, and entrepreneurs that I work with, and I work with a lot of them. I met Sam Ovens and Alex Mosey at the school games. They hired me to create content for the school games, and I got to meet pretty much all the different school game winners. And the interesting thing was they all had different funnels. They all had different strategies that followed this kind of cold to sold flow in some shape or fashion. But the thing that made them successful wasn't the strategy, wasn't the cold to sold flow. It was this, that their content focus on 3 main things. Focus on building trust. How do we build trust? They need to trust with you. So you need to sell them on you. They need to have trust in your method or your message, your way of doing things. And they need to then trust your offer. These 3 things, once you have these 3 things locked into your content, that is when you start seeing less leads and more customers, more clients. I don't care so much about lead flow. I care about who is converting. I care about converting them into, because I can have 1 million leads and have shitty conversions and it doesn't do anything for me. The most important thing is clients, is people converting, is buyers. Getting leads is easy. Getting customers is hard. And the way to make that easier is focusing on these 3 things. And if you want to learn how you can create content that actually sells you, sells your method, and sells your offer without you having to jump on a sales call, without you hustling hard or doing all the outdated marketing techniques, then go watch this video. Link is in the description. I walk through every step of the process and how you can make that happen in 2025. Go check that out. You won't want to miss that video. Anyways, if you like this style of content, put in the comments what you love, what you learned, what you want to see more. Love to see you guys again. Take care. Thank you so much. See you next week. Peace.